Hello there my fellow Holotable heroes and welcome to another non-Star Wars related video. If you remember a while ago I visited Crete, so I done like a series of videos showing you exploring the island, and those were quite popular, and to follow that up I did another set of videos following my road trip from UK to Croatia. Again, many of you enjoyed those, so here I am back with another one of those trip videos. Now this is actually from October last year, from a few months ago. However, it took quite a while to go through all the recordings I made and put the video together and things like that. You will also notice that the second part of the video is slightly different just because my camera ran out of batteries. So I wasn't able to do live commentary on the spot. I kind of did a voiceover later on at home. But again, let me know what style of video do you prefer. Do you prefer just, live commentary while I'm walking and while I'm on the spot, as you will see in the first part of the video? Or do you prefer more kind of, later on doing a voiceover as the second part of the video? If you do prefer the live commentary, I can then buy some, extra spare batteries for my camera for my next trip, which I'm planning around June time, so that I can, make sure I do not run out of battery again. Alright, let's just get into it. Hello there my fellow Holotable heroes and welcome to the National Park of Plitvice Lakes. Now while this technically isn't my first time here, because I was here when I was like, I don't know, 6-7 years old, back when this was all still Yugoslavia, I hardly remember anything at all. I just remember the green colors of the lakes, and there was some shuttle buses or something. Hey, that's what 6-7-year-old kid remembers, right? But anyway, it's just the start of a trail. So today we have planned to go on an 18-kilometer trail, which is about, I don't know, 11 miles or so. So it should be like a 6 to 8 hour day trip out there walking amongst the lakes and numerous waterfalls. Anyway, let's just get going and we'll see how beautiful this place actually really is. Okay, so we just descended down towards the first lake. Already seen very nice view of the big waterfall, which actually is our first stop on today's trail, which most people actually go here. There is some fish in the lakes, not sure if you can see them on the camera. Hopefully once we a little bit go up the trail, because we're taking the long one, that there'll be less people, there'll be more opportunities to stop and a little bit enjoy the peace. Here it's full of tourists on relatively small area. It's only, I think, 9 kilometers long, the lake system, so it gets crazy. So if you want to visit, definitely come here in spring or autumn season. Even now that's already mid-autumn, so many people. I just was not expecting this. All right, so just descending towards the big waterfall. Should be just around the corner if we can get to it for all these people. And here we go, we are at the big large waterfall. Pretty tall, as you can see. Lots of people around. So I think we'll just move on and continue our trail quickly to find some peace and quiet in this paradise. Just come across a couple of ducks here. Good morning guys, how are you doing? Sorry for disturbing you, I'll just be on my way. No, it's not, just continue snacking, that's okay. Don't mind us. Don't mind us at all. Okay, so just made to the next lake, Gavanovac, which apparently goes 11 meters deep. It's very green as everything else we've seen so far. Probably because of the light today, the colors won't pop as much as they would, because it's kind of overcast. Probably on a nice sunny day, probably this green would really pop a lot more. Still very beautiful. Okay, so we reached our next lake, Milanovac, which is 19 meters deep, so even deeper. Looks like even bigger than the previous one.
So basically this system is just a lake after a lake, and then in between you get some beautiful waterfalls. Definitely a surreal experience. All these footpaths they created, crossing the lakes, crossing big streams. You can just really feel the power of water trembling beneath your feet when you're walking. It's really like walking on water almost. Oh, look at all the fish in the stream. Hopefully camera can capture them. Yeah, also the lakes are so full of life. The ducks, fish everywhere, all these plants growing. It's definitely very beautiful place. One of the most beautiful places you've ever seen in your life, probably. Okay, so we just arrived at the stop where you can go on a boat. It's fully electric, obviously not to pollute the pristine lakes. You can go just across the lake if you want to make your hike shorter. But I think we'll just walk to the end of the trail, and then we'll see time-wise, do we go back, make it shorter via boat or shuttle, or we'll just walk back. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, there's a dragonfly right there, just passing by. But yeah, we'll just continue now on the trail. There we go. We just have a brand new group of tourists coming off the board of the boat. So now that we are continuing the trail up until this point, the long trail that you are taking was shared by other shorter trails. So hopefully now this is the long trail only. We'll finally be able to have some peace and quiet. So just continue walking around the lake, and we'll see where this trail takes us. Okay, so the trail started ascending a little bit, so which not only gives us an opportunity to get away from the crowds, but also to get a little bit different perspective on the lake from above. So we'll just see how high this trail will take us. Hopefully there'll be some nice viewpoint somewhere where we can get a nice big panoramic view of this beautiful scenery. Just walking through here, forest trail, lots of old beech trees. You can also see already that autumn is creeping in, leaves fallen. When you get to a really quiet spot somewhere, you can just hear leaves dropping down on the ground. Leaves started, some are turning yellow, some red. So definitely nice and warm autumn day. So the sun has finally come out and at the right angle. Hopefully camera is capturing this well. The emerald green color really standing out in the sunlight. Nice contrast to the green and, as mentioned before, autumn yellow leaves. So maybe autumn is a nice time to come. You get a little bit different colors rather than just green in the summer. And then also in the summer, the dry months, the waterfalls could be less impressive as well, due to obviously having less waters. So definitely autumn or spring, I think, is the way to go here. Look at this beautiful. You see glittering like diamonds on the surface of water, as well as I can see some spider webs here. Again, not sure if camera is picking these guys up. Nice and quiet here, away from the crowds. Okay, so it looks like we are a little bit taken to the path a little bit higher up, away from the lake. And I guess we'll come up across a waterfall, a hidden gem that you otherwise would miss if you do not take the long trail. So there's benefit, I guess, for hiking a little bit longer than most people, just to get a views that others simply don't get. Get a little bit of sunshine coming through again, so you can see the color of the lake here. It's a little bit green, but probably if it will be really sunny, it will be a lot more intense. And deeper into the woods we go. Some big old beech trees. Primarily it's beech actually, forest, which to be honest, it's anyway, most of the Europe back when then was covered by beech. And honestly, people, we cut down all those forests. And I guess now pine and spruce is a bit more popular for the timber. They grow faster, I guess. I don't know. Wow, look at that. Oh. So yeah, Plitvice National Park is definitely a lot more than just lakes and waterfalls. We've been walking for about an hour now through these ancient beech woods, and even though you're away from the lakes, away from the waterfalls, you constantly hear in the background from somewhere the noise, the sounds of waterfalls, sounds of bird chirping, and actually, being away from the crowds, it definitely feels a lot more relaxing. You can really sense the power of nature here. Really nice. It's almost like if you would be on planet of Kashyyyk, just looking, oh, is there going to be a Wookiee jumping off a tree somewhere and stopping me? Sorry guys, very bad impression. Anyway, we'll just continue going through the forest. Not sure how long this path goes on. Maybe another half an hour, because just across there we did see some waterfalls, and as well footpath down to the waterfalls. I'm assuming at some point we'll just descend back down to the lakes and get a closer view of those waterfalls we saw from the distance from across the woods. Okay, so finally came out of the woods a little bit. Looks like we'll go down the path, start descending towards the lake. As you can see here, they're actually building what looks like a viewing platform, so maybe we're 1 year too early, because then you could go walk out a little bit, get a really magnificent view with the lake below and waterfall, and then the other lake. So this is actually the main big lake, Kozjak, that we walked around. So we walked all the way from the other end of the lake around it, around this series of lakes as well, then ascended up. So we'll start descending now around the lakes, then go there above the waterfalls, and then maybe we'll take a boat ride back. We'll have to wait and see what the time-wise is looking like. Or maybe we'll just walk back on the other side of the lake Kozjak. But yeah, very few people here walking on this path. Definitely very nice, quiet walk through the forest. So if you do want to get away from the crowds, take the K route. It's a bit of a walk, but in my opinion, well worth it. And now while we're looking down at the waterfalls, going, the water flowing from one lake into the other, it's actually an interesting thing that these natural dams between lakes, it's really a mixture of like limestone, algae, bacteria. It's kind of plants, air, stone, all mixed together, creating these barriers, natural barriers that apparently are growing up to 1 centimeter a year. So this is kind of constantly changing kind of system of lakes. In total, there is 16 lakes. They're connected through these different caves and waterfalls and everything. And because of constant changes, they're saying it's really treated as one lake system, because it's hard to classify them and analyze them separately because they're constantly changing. So I don't know. Imagine this millions and millions of years ago. Maybe it was just a river, and then these dams slowly started forming, creating these series of lakes that apparently are still growing. And also this green color is due to minerals and algae in the water, that as well the color itself of the lakes can be different a little bit depending obviously on the mineral composition. Alright, we'll just continue now our trail, start descending down towards the lakes and waterfalls, and I'll see you there. Wow, would you look at this view? You would definitely not see this if you just go on the main paths around the lake and from waterfall. You can so clearly see like lakes divided with the barriers, waterfalls flowing there from the right. Beautiful.
Hello, just recording on my phone now because I guess I should have bought some spare batteries for my camera. Didn't realize it doesn't last that long. It's the first time I was in this kind of trips video. So I've been walking for like 4.5 hours now. Guess we're sort of halfway, I'm not sure. We'll have to decide still, do we walk all the way back or do we go by boat to make the trip shorter? Definitely not taking the shuttle bus, the noisy one. So what can I see? We just stopped at the coffee place here, coffee shop. Got ourselves a sandwich with the local cheese and some, what's local cheese and pickles?
Lički.
Lički sir, says Mrs. B Dynasty. Let me try and I'll let you know how it is. No, cheese, it's good. It's good. €5 here. Well, I'm speaking of euros, the tickets now in October starts low season tickets, so it's like €24 per person. Otherwise, during summer months, it's like €40 per person. So it's quite pricey, but I guess the boat ride is included. If you want to take the shuttle bus, it's included. However, parking is extra. So if you do come by car, it's like €1 per hour. So definitely not the cheapest place to visit, but I still get tons of people. I have a feeling even they would charge like €100 per person, people will still come in masses, because it's obviously, as hopefully you've seen from the video, quite beautiful and unique place to see. Probably the highlight so far has been the great waterfall right at the beginning, but unfortunately, because it is the highlight, everybody go there. It's so many people, it's really hard to enjoy it fully, appreciate it fully with so many people. So we were just discussing that maybe on the way back, so once we get back, we'll go again just to see if maybe there's less people or not. Anyway, I'll see you later, I guess. Right now I have to finish this puppy. After demolishing a delicious sandwich with local cheese, we continue the trail through the woodlands, walking along the stream that turned into a waterfall, running down into the next lake below. Again, coming across more fish when crossing the lake along the wooden trail. There is just something about standing next to a powerful stream of water. It's not just the sounds that takes you to another mindset, but also the vibration of the ground trembling beneath your feet. We continue to descend, passing by another waterfall in the woods until we reach what was for us the highlight of the trail, the Veliki Prštavac waterfall. While the big waterfall we have seen at the start gets all the hype for being by far the tallest, Veliki Prštavac had a more profound effect on us due to its position in the woods, being very wide without any crowds, and due to the trail passing by very close to it. So you can really experience how it got the name Veliki Prštavac, which I guess loosely translates to Grand Sprayer, as you can feel it spraying the drops of water onto your face. After getting our faces cleansed by Veliki Prštavac, we continued passing by the trail towards, yes, you guessed it, even more waterfalls, streams, and another lake until we reached the next highlight, Mali Prštavac, which loosely translates to Little Sprayer. And as name implies, it wasn't spraying as hard as his bigger brother we met earlier. The trail then continued across the lake until reaching yet another waterfall, Galovački Buk. While not that large in size and waterfall, its magic was really the view surrounding it with the emerald green lake. After another set of waterfalls shaped in a horseshoe, we arrived to a point of lake where there was no trail crossing it, so we had to take a short 5-minute boat ride to cross it. After disembarking, the trail started ascending away from the lake, and it was this last part of the trail that offered some of the best views of the waterfalls and lakes from above. Definitely worth the extra effort we made today to hike the entire trail through the national park. Unfortunately, the day turned even more cloudy than it was in the morning, so I can only imagine how green these lakes would look like from above on a sunny day, if even on a day like today their color was magnificent. It was really interesting returning on this side of the trail, looking down and back onto the trail we walked on at the start of the trip, offering a different perspective on the park. There were hardly any other people walking up this part of the trail, which allowed us to take in all the magnificent views in peace and quiet. Once we made it back to the point where we started our trail today, we just had enough time to descend back down to the lakes to try and visit the big waterfall again to see if the crowds have gone by now. And to our surprise, there was not another human to be found down there. With the noise of the crowds gone, this felt completely different, so quiet and calm. We slowly walked between the two lakes on the wooden trail, making our way down to the stairs to return to the big waterfall, and wow, we had it completely for ourselves this time. It's really interesting how different nature feels when there is less people around. As the sunset was approaching, the park was closing soon, so we had to start making our way to the car park, stopping on the way at one of my favorite spots where the trail leads you across a point where waterfalls converge from underneath your feet, from your left and your right. This simply felt like a scene out of a fantasy world. The video does not do it justice. Now imagine this on a sunny day. One short ascent back to the car park and the trip was complete. Well, almost. We were very hungry, so we visited a local pizzeria called Vučnica, which is located by the ski slopes. We ordered a vegetarian one and we were not disappointed. It was full of vegetables, which is usually rare to find, and most importantly for me, the cheese they used was Gouda and another local cheese, Škripavac, which felt a lot less greasy and heavy than mozzarella cheese they usually use in other places. Just look at my reaction. Now, maybe it was due to the fact that we have walked for over 21 kilometers today, or maybe the pizza was actually that good. To cap off the dinner, we also ordered a slice of chocolate cake and a walnut cake. Now, I'm a fan of chocolate cakes, but the walnut one was even more delicious. By the time we finished everything up, it has gotten completely dark, so we returned back to the nearby resort to stay the night before leaving Plitvice the next morning.